Hi guys, welcome back. A question that I commonly get and that I see online, what are the prerequisites to getting into pharmacy school?
And I kind of don't like that question.
One, because I'm old and I've been a pharmacist for almost 10 years now. So if you factor in how long it took me to become a pharmacist, prerequisites were like a really long time ago. So if I told you what prerequisites were when I was becoming a pharmacist, it may not be relevant. Like, you, depending on how old you are, you may not remember the time where you did not have to have a bachelor's degree to become a pharmacist. But there was a point in time where you did not. And then there was a point in time where you did, and you may be familiar that some pharmacists have a PharmD and some pharmacists have a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. They don't have the doctorate. So I'm going to make this a very practical navigating pharmacy school prereqs. Once you have drilled down and decided that you want to become a pharmacist, the next thing you're probably going to want to do is figure out where you want to go to school, or at least have an idea. How do you determine where you should go to pharmacy school? I'm going to say it's a highly personal decision, but I'll give you some things to kind of roll around to kind of guide you. If you're not open to moving, let's say you have a family, you have a child, so you need to kind of stay where you are. Number one is going to be, what are the pharmacy schools nearby where I am? That's going to be number one for a lot of people. Number two, I would say look at first time NAPLEX pass rates. NAPLEX is the North American Pharmaceutical
What?
Licensing Exam. I think I got that right. But that is basically the exam you take when you complete pharmacy school. You sit to become licensed. One of the exams that you have to sit to take to become licensed as a pharmacist. It evaluates your clinical knowledge, and you have to pass that along with a law exam, which is separate. The first time pass rates, in my opinion, I don't think they're the end all be all, but I think if you're spending your money, you want to feel like, you're getting good value. And I will say that value is one of those things where what you put into pharmacy school is what you're going to get out of pharmacy school. This is going to be one of those things that got a lot of people. What are the first time pass rates? The next thing is going to be cost. When I was going to pharmacy school, the cost for pharmacy schools were pretty comparable. It wasn't like you were getting a ton of discount at UNC or a state school and you were paying an exorbitant amount of money at a private school like Hampton University where I went. No, the cost for tuition was very across the board. So that would also be something that you would want to check into, is the tuition prices, to see if there's any, differences in the price that may drive you one place or the other. I think something else that you may want to consider is, what is that school known for? Does that school do a lot of research? Are they attached to a hospital? Do the students graduate, tend to do residency if you're interested in residency? So basically at this point it's going to be your interest, and if that school specializes or has the resources to support and produces a lot of pharmacists who go into the area that you would like to go into. So that would be a good way to determine, like, what pharmacy school this would be a good fit for me, this wouldn't. Another thing is going to be students who get admitted. You want to look at, what is the average GPA of a student? And again, this is not one of those end all be all things. You certainly can, score really high above what the average is or median, and you could be below it. It doesn't mean if you're not, then you don't have a shot there. It just kind of gives you some guidance. So if the students there have the average GPA of students who are admitted are 3.8 or 4.0. If your GPA doesn't fall in line with that, it kind of gives you some idea about your, chances of getting in at the school. That's gonna, kind of push you into what schools you're looking at. Okay, so we've looked at those factors, and now we have the top 5 schools that we're looking at. You're gonna take your handy dandy electronic device, and you're going to go to their website. So for instance, I'm going to go to Virginia, or I'm just going to put in VCU School of Pharmacy right into Google. Boom, pops up. And it says VCU. I don't know if you can see it. It says VCU School of Pharmacy. It has the PharmD, the program overview, current students, all the things, right? Then just for reference, I'm going to run through this. They have a 91% residency match rate of the students who applied in 2025. They have a 77% NAPLEX pass rate for first-time test takers that was in 2024, and it's rated number 19 pharmacy school in the country. So if you want to go to VCU, those are some little facts. We've ended up at the admissions requirements. Now, under the admission requirements, it's going to have admissions for the doctorate of pharmacy degree, because of course they have a bunch of different a bunch of other programs. So this is, you have to submit an application, you need transcripts, you need 3 letters of references, or 3 letters of reference, and then it gets to the prerequisite coursework completed for admission. You need a minimum of 52 semester hours or 78 quarter hours of coursework taken at a U.S. accredited college or university. You must have earned a C or better in the course, and in the course is specified to meet minimum academic requirements for admission. So then you go a little bit further down. Requisites that you need. You need 8 hours of general biology, a lecture and a lab. You need 8 hours of college chemistry, a lecture and a lab. You need 8 hours of organic chemistry, lecture and lab. You need 4 hours of physics, lecture and lab. You need 3 hours of human anatomy, 3 hours of human physiology. It says, due to the importance of strong biomedical science foundation for success, they recommend also genetics, 3 hours, molecular biology, 3 hours, immunology, 3 hours, and then cell biology. They recommend 3 hours. So completion is mandatory. You have to do an interview. Yeah. So those are all the things. So you see how I went right to the website, and this tells me what the prerequisites are for VCU School of Pharmacy for the PharmD program. Now, if I had Shenandoah, Hampton, and some of the other schools up there, I would go to those schools and I would see what exactly their requirements are for admissions to their program. And then once you do that, what I did when I was preparing for pharmacy school is I wrote down each school's prerequisites, and then I looked at the ones that most of the colleges have. So the chemistry, the biology, the English, all of that pretty across the board for most pharmacy schools when I was interested. When I was interested, Hampton required public speaking. The other pharmacy schools, I can't remember them requiring public speaking, but I knew Hampton was one of the schools that I wanted to apply to, so I went ahead and took public speaking. And that's how you're going to determine what the prerequisites are to get into pharmacy school, because it is going to be dependent on what school you choose to go to. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below in the comments. Send me a message and I will try to respond to them as soon as I can, as I see them. And like I said, these things change. They're ever evolving. I would be interested to see how much prerequisites change in the next 3 to 5 years as funding for school becomes a little more challenging, as the salaries for pharmacists staying stagnant if it doesn't increase significantly. Those types of things, if the work-life balance for pharmacists or other opportunities for pharmacists. It'll be interesting to see how prerequisites change, because we're already seeing a decline in pharmacy schools. Schools are closing down because the enrollment is not there. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a message. I will give you my advice. I will give you advice based off of my experience, but be mindful that experience is very, very old. I am this class of sweet 16. 2016 is when I graduated from pharmacy school, and I'm sure there are many more pharmacists on social media who have a different and more refreshed and up-to-date perspective. But I appreciate you sitting by long enough to listen to mine. Again, if you like the content I create, if you enjoy this video, please like it. Share it with a friend. Always consider subscribing. And until the next video, bye!